Then I write the script and I write out the scenes that I want. Now, let's say, for example, I'm doing a video for an about page of a website. In other words, we all got these about pages. They've got lots and lots of writing. And instead of writing, what I'd like you to be able to do is watch a video of what's happening. So first of all, I'd put a description of who I am, then a little bit about what my story is, then what it is that I do and why I do it, and then finally, what inspires me and what is my goal. And if I were to fill that out, something along these lines, Mike said, I'm a Johannesburg-based content creator, blah, blah, blah. What's my story? 30 years experience in the restaurant industry, a little bit more there. What I do, I'm a visual storyteller, I engage with my clients to discover what drives them and motivates them. And finally, what inspires me. Then on the right-hand side, I start writing out the scenes that I would like to do. So I'm going to start off with an intro with me talking directly to the camera. Then I'm going to cut to a conversation with a client. Then I'm going to show you a quick clip that I've made with Quick. Then some clips of restaurant staff. I'm going to take a bit from Canva, and I didn't quite have the time to shoot all the video myself. So what I did for my video was I used a lot of stock footage that I've collected over the ages. But this is how easy it is to do. Clip of me shooting video with my phone, clip of editing, clip of uploading. And so you'll quickly go through until finally, my final clip is me asking again, how can I help you? That's a very simple little script, but what it does is it breaks it down into scenes so I know what to go out and shoot at any one time. Once I've got that, the next step is for me to actually record my narrative. Now, you do not need any fancy equipment. You really just simply need your phone to do this recording. Hold your phone away from you, go into voice clips and start recording. Make sure you're in a room that isn't too big with no, I like to do it in front of a curtain so that I don't get a lot of echo and reverb. Otherwise, I'll do it outside. I know I get a bit of background noise, but sometimes that adds to the video. Another way you might want to record your narrative and your video is to actually use teleprompters. Now, I use two particular teleprompters. One of them is called PromptSmart, and the other one is called Teleprompter. You can download both of them. They're available, I think, on iOS and on Android. Very, very simple. And what these do is they actually, the words move as you go along. Now, PromptSmart is a little bit, I think it does cost about 200 or 300 Rand. But for me, it's worth it because it's actually voice activated. And as I talk, so the words move up the screen. And if I stop, the words stop with me. Teleprompter is pretty basic. You just set your speed that you want to go. Try a few times. And both of them allow you to record video while you're actually doing it. So you're looking at the screen and recording just like a TV teleprompter. You do have the problem that your eyes tend to look in the middle and the camera does spot a little bit, but for what we're doing, it's more than good enough. So now you've recorded the sound and you need to cut your sound up. So there are two places where I go when I need to cut up my sound. The first thing is something called 123apps.com. Now 123apps.com is absolutely phenomenal free online editing. From an audio cutter to an audio joiner to a converter to a video converter to cutter, PDF tools, absolutely free, unbelievable. Audio joiner, pop in 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs, cut them up there, mix them, export them, absolutely no charge whatsoever. If you'd like to get a little bit more technical when it comes to your voice, go to audacityteam.org and download a free open source cross-platform audio software. It's unbelievable. You can remove background sounds there. You can enhance someone's voice. You can do voiceover and audio over. It amazes me how much is available on the internet. If you just go searching for it, that is absolutely free. What I've tried to do in today's talk is to use everything that you could possibly use without spending any money whatsoever. If you are prepared to spend a little money, pop along to Fiverr. You can get a voiceover done there. I always use the same guy. This guy by the name of Nicholas does all my male South African voiceovers. Costs me about 91 Rand for 100 words. So in other words, if I've got a 300 or 400 word script, I can get it done for under 500 Rand. He sends it to me. I then add it to my videos and I often use him. There are other people on there as well. If you are going to use Fiverr, feel free to use that address at the top there. You just need to take a quick picture of it or download it from the video. That way you'll get 20% off your first order and I'll get an extra 20% of your order as a credit to me. Certainly worth it for me. So now we've recorded it and now we're going to start shooting the video. The first thing is to understand what mobile video gear you actually need. So first of all, you just need your phone. Your phone is really a very, very good camera. And particularly with a piece of software that I'm going to have you download, you'll be able to see how you can enhance it. But there are a couple of things you might want to spend some money on. And the first of those is to get yourself a tripod. Whether you're going to get yourself a small little tripod or the one on the right-hand side, I found that one for about 299 Rand on takealot.com. So we're talking about spending a couple of $100 to invest in a tripod. It's certainly worth your while. And once you're going to invest in a tripod, you do need something on the tripod that's going to hold the camera in place. Now they vary from the one on the left, which should cost you about 50 to 100 Rand at a flea market store or a Chinese store. All the ones in the middle and the right cost you a couple of $100. I must tell you that I personally use the one on the left-hand side, the cheap one. I find it the easiest, the most convenient. I'll buy 2 or 3 of them. I leave them in different camera bags. I leave one on my desk, and I certainly have one in my car at any one time. If you need a tripod and you urgently and you don't have anything, you can always use a nice big blob of press stick. Don't push your phone up against the wall, but you can stand it on that. When it comes to sound recording, I am going to recommend that if you are going to take this seriously, you start investing in what's called a lavalier microphone or just a lav mic. Once again, pop along to Takealot. Anything from 200 Rand to 1200 Rand you can spend. The only thing I must tell you is please be aware that you need to make sure that it fits your particular phone. Sorry. As you can see, the ones on the left-hand side, they do not work with iPhone. So you'd need to get an iPhone adapter. So please, when you're looking for a lavalier, make sure the lavalier works with your particular phone. Small ones like that. And if you are really going to invest one day, it is worthwhile investing a recorder that records sound off the phone. I myself use that one. It's called a Zoom H2. They're a couple of $1,000, but they are worth it if you are going to take video editing really seriously and particularly sound. But I can assure you, for what you need to do right now, you need none of that. You just simply need your phone and a little bit of intuition. So I spoke earlier about Quick. Quick is my go-to on the go app. When I need to shoot a video and edit it really, really fast, and particularly something that has a lot of action in it. For example, doing a visit to Gold Reef City, at a party. I just want to catch the vibe of something without having too much. This is just a phenomenal app, QUIK. It's made by GoPro. It's 100% free. It's available on Android and iOS in the App Store. And I suggest you keep this little app on you. What I'm going to do is give you a little demonstration of how Quick works. This is me editing a very fast video on Quick. Selecting the pictures that I want, trying to work out which order I want them in, popping them on, adding a small piece of video, then going back to my final one. Then I just press add 13. And I let Quick do the rest. As you can see, I switched there from square to cinema. Now I'm going to pick what it is that I want it to do. I'm going to select some music that goes with it. Adjusting the length of the video that I want. Finding the music that I want. When I'm happy with that, gone through everything, changed the sounds, a few little things, little tricks that you'll learn as you go along. Final adjustment of the length of the video that I want. Hit the save button. Save it to file. So this video, I must have worked on it for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Download it, save it to my photo library. And here's what we recorded. So that took me maybe 3 or 4 minutes to do. If you can imagine, you're inside a restaurant, you want to shoot a couple of short little clips of the food, shoot some of the lighting, shoot some of the staff, pop into quick, pick a soundtrack. Before you know it, you've got a brilliant video to send out. Just a remarkable video to set out. Now, let's say we're going to do some serious filming ourselves. So I'm going to help you now by setting up your filming applications. I myself use a whole lot of different filming applications for different things. There's something called Pro Movie. It's also free. You might want to try that one. It's really, really good. I use iMotion when I want to do stop motion or stop motion. I can't try to think what the word is I'm looking for now. But when I use stop motion, for example, a sunset or the clouds, or anything like that, I use that. A little app called 8mm if I want something to look really old. Of course, I'm on TikTok. Hyperlapse is a really great little app for shooting very fast, high-speed video. And then, of course, the one that I recommend that you all try, which is Filmic Pro, which is the one we are going to use today. Now, it's pretty simple. Go along, download Filmic Pro, open Filmic Pro, and all of a sudden, you have turned your camera into a full-scale video camera that's capable of doing a whole lot of things. Let me take you through some of that right now. As you open your screen on Filmic Pro, this is what you will see in front of you. Looks a little bit intimidating. You've never done it before, but I'm going to talk you through the steps to set up your own Filmic Pro. First of all, that little gear button at the bottom, like everything else, that is the settings button. As you click on it, your settings will open. And the very first thing I do recommend you do is you go and make sure that the grid is on. I always like to shoot all my pictures and all my videos with my grids on, and I try and use what's known as the rule of thirds. So most of the time, I'm trying to make sure that nothing's placed in the center unless I'm doing an interview. And as you start getting used to the rule of thirds and making sure that, for example, the grass is 1/3, the trees are 1/3, and the sky is 1/3, you'll start noticing a real improvement in your own shooting from there. The next thing you can do, pop along just to the device button, click on the device button, and there you can choose between wide, tele, zoom, and of course selfie mode. Most of the time I'm shooting in wide. It's absolutely perfect. I can zoom in if I need to, even in wide, but that would be my recommended setting for you as you go into it. Next thing you'll want to do is set the resolution of what you're shooting in. For starters, I like to shoot everything in 16:9, and I also do like to shoot all the time in landscape. I never shoot in portrait unless I'm shooting for something very specific, like, for example, an Instagram story, which needs to be, otherwise all your shooting should be done in 16:9. You can try 2:2.1, which is just a much thinner ratio, and people use it for a more cinematic look. What you'll find at the bottom is you're now able to set the resolution. And this starts from SD540, which is really, really small, and economy mode. It'll not be high quality, but at least it'll be small enough to send out on thing. And on this app, you can shoot all the way up to 4K at Filmic Extreme. I personally do not use 4K when I'm shooting with my phone. So my go-to setting is HD 1080 and Filmic quality. If you leave your camera on that, you leave your phone on that setting, you will get phenomenal video with no degrade and no degrading of the image. Once you've set that, the next thing you want to set is what's called your film rate. Now, most cameras, for example, your cell phone, will default to 30 frames per second. I do like to set my own camera at 24 frames per second. It gives a slightly more cinematic look and not this like very hard, jarring look that you get with 30 frames per second. But what else you can do there is you can also change, for example, up to 60 frames per second. That allows you to shoot, for example, very high speed and then play it back at 24 and you'll get a kind of slow motion effect. In fact, if you look just below my orange arrow, it says the SLW 1080. It'll tell me that I am shooting in slow motion at that particular point. Another couple of things that you'll see on the screen at any one time, next to the SLW 1080p, you'll see your time. That's how long you've been going for. On the right-hand side is your battery indicator. I do recommend that you shoot with your battery on full. And just below that, the little green kind of pie chart will tell you how much space you've got left for recording. Please don't make the mistake that I've made many, many times, which is go out to do a really big shoot with my phone, only to discover that I absolutely don't have enough memory at all. So that's something you want to do first. The next thing you'll see in front of you are the circle and the square. The square on the right-hand side, that one over there, that is used to focus. So for example, I can focus on the trees. Sorry, I'll get to focus now. And the one on the left-hand side, the circle, that is for exposure. On the bottom left-hand side over there, you'll see these three little circles over there. Click on them. That's where you'll go in and set your white balance. I always leave my phone on automatic white balance. If I go somewhere and the light's really, really bad, for example, there's tungsten light or something like that, I can adjust with it, but I do suggest in the beginning, simply set your white balance to automatic white balance, and you can lock it or allow it to go on its own. The next little circle on the left-hand side over there, if you click that one over there, some whole new things pop up. On your left-hand side of your screen, you suddenly see your exposure, which you're able to adjust. And on the right-hand side, you can see your focus and your zoom. So let's, for example, play around with the focus. The first thing I can do, I'm now able to do is to focus on an image that's very close to me and blur the background. Quite a remarkable thing. Or I can move the focus out. I can move the focus out a little bit. That could only be David Kimmelman. Hello, David Kimmelman.
Sorry.
I could move the focus out and I can focus behind me. So just to switch between these two, just to give you some idea of what you're able to do while you're filming, to draw the attention from, for example, a wine glass that's sitting on your table all the way out to the rest of the restaurant, or maybe from a hairdresser's scissors all the way out to the rest of the studio. The next thing you can also do, there's a little zoom button there. If you just click on it, and by using a little lever that goes up and down, I can zoom in and zoom out. Unfortunately, you are going to find that as you zoom in, you do tend to lose a little bit of quality. So you're not going to use it to over zoom, but just to bring in emphasis. Pretty simple from that point of view. As you can see there, I'm focused on the other part of it over there. And then finally, you'll see on the left-hand side a little button for A or advanced. It's for some advanced features that you might want to learn to use, but they really are very optional. So as I click on them, you'll see on the top of my screen, 4 little dots come up. The first one is known as the zebra stripes. If I click on the zebra stripes, it'll show me any part of the image that it considers to be overexposed at that particular time. Now, because it's the sky and it's somewhere out in the background, I'm not too worried about it. but I might look at that dot that's on my bottle and say that overexposed section on my bottle is going to distract. So I might then go back and change the settings. So that's the first one I sometimes use. And the last one I use is the one called FP, which shows me what's in focus at that particular time. So for example, there I can see that I'm focused on the background. Here I can see that I'm focused on the foreground. They just do give me some indication. If you're really worried that your eye's not sharp enough, that's pretty much all you'll need to do your focusing with. So as I'm sure you can see, this is quite a remarkable application for something that's for free and on your phone, and then turns your phone into something. Now, we've set everything up and we want to record. What do we do now? Pretty simple. That button on the bottom, click it there. As you click it, it'll go red. And once it goes red, the numbers will start counting and you are recording. So have some fun and go and record your first video. Now, once you've recorded the video, what do you do then? You'll see on the bottom is a little button that says play. Click on that button and any videos that you've shot will come up in front of you. Here you can delete them, you can move them, you can shift them, you can change the order. It's quite interesting that they pick up a color that they find in the video just to help you separate one from any other. So let's say, for example, I want to download that one over there. I simply click on it, click on the arrow, and then I click on the download and I download that video to my phone. Now there are settings in Filmic Pro that allow you to download every single thing to your phone. I prefer not to. I prefer to leave it on Filmic Pro and then decide which ones I want to use. Because one of the things I like to do is to shoot the same scene over and over until I find the exact one that I want. And sometimes I haven't got the time to look at that. There, I'll go back home or be sitting in my car or somewhere quiet and take the time to go and look at videos that I've shot. So now you've set up your application, pretty simple. Set the frame rate, set the size of the video. You've adjusted your color. You know what you want to do. Go out there, stick it on a tripod and shoot, shoot, shoot. So now let me give you some tips on shooting your video footage. Step number one, clean your lens. Before you do anything else, just take a soft cloth, maybe even your shirt, and just give your lens a wipe. Very often I'm sent video by clients. I have to phone them back and say, please do me a favor, reshoot the video with a clean lens. And it's such a simple thing. It looks blurry, it alters everything. It's worth it. The next thing to watch out for is the lighting. Now, I can assure you, my idea today is not to try and turn you into Steven Spielberg, but at least to be able to make you shoot videos that will amaze your teenage children. And they won't think we're all such boomers. So I think I just heard my daughter laughing from the next room. In fact, I definitely heard her laughing from the next room. So watch the light. Watch the light on your subject. Watch the light on someone's forehead, the light that's shining in their glasses, the light that's behind them. Just take a look around through the screen and have a look at the light that's going on around you. Try and stay as steady as possible. This is where I highly recommend a tripod. Have a tripod with you, set it up, let the tripod do the work. All you have to do is keep an eye on the image. If you do need to do some panning, no problem on your tripod, just loosen it and swivel it slightly. It's worth it. Sometimes you might want to get a real handy cam effect. In other words, you actually want the camera to look like it's moving. So for example, you're shooting a concert or you're shooting high action inside a studio, maybe you're shooting inside the kitchen and you really want to show some movement, then no problem, hold the phone in your hand, hold it as steady as possible and move it in slow motion as much as possible. Try not to jerk from one subject to the next. Move as little as possible. Try and do everything in these long sweeping movements. As I said, use a tripod wherever you possibly can. And another thing I like to do is I like to make sure that I start filming early and I finish late. Now, people are quite amazing. The moment you point the camera at them, they start speaking. And you haven't pressed the record button and you're at least 3 or 4 seconds into it before you actually can manage that. So don't say to them, watch my signal, start the video first, then give them a couple of seconds later, give them a signal to start, tell them you've finished, and then switch off the camera after that. It's much easier to cut out those last few seconds or the early seconds than it is to try and sneak it in and squeeze it in. The next thing I recommend you do is that you shoot the scene a few times from different angles. Experiment, play around with it, try high shots and low shots. The only time you really will not be experimenting, for example, is when you're shooting someone, an interview or someone's face straight up. Because then you're going to use your rule of thirds. You're going to make sure their eyes are on the middle, on the second line from the bottom. But otherwise, shoot multiple scenes. The beauty is there's nothing to develop. There's no money cost in setting it up. Just go out there, experiment, have lots of fun, and shoot. Great. Now you've got all this film, and now you want to edit your footage. Now, the editing I'm going to cover. So first of all, let me speak about that. Well, let me speak about what we're going to cover first. Sorry about that. There's plenty that we have to cover, so I'm going to need to go pretty quickly through all of this. I'm going to talk about organizing your image folder, how to do that on your phone so it makes it easier for you to find your images. I'm going to talk about how to start your project, how to choose your clips, how to reorder your clips, add clips or images to your folder, flip or rotate your videos, split your video, delete a portion of your video, adjust the speed of the clip, reverse a video, trim a video, mute sound on a single clip, duplicate or delete a video, transitions between videos, zoom in and out of a video or still, add a title, add your voiceover, add some music, and then finally how to produce and use it. That is a lot to go through, and these are really the basics. But if you can master just some of these, I can assure you by this evening you will be shooting and editing your own videos and absolutely amazing yourself. But I want to remind you once again, it starts with a script. Don't go out and shoot the video and then write the script afterwards. You have to have an idea in your mind of what your script is and what scenes you'd like to shoot for this particular video. Firstly, when it comes to organizing your images, I highly recommend that you divide things into that you really do divide things into little folders. So for example, I've got one there called Skydive. I've got one there called Gym Routine. And I have multiple folders that I like to put everything in. When you take something out of your folders out of your pictures and you move them to the folder, it doesn't actually remove them from your pictures. You'll still be able to find them there, but it does help organize it for you. So all you do, go in there, create a new album, give the album a name. For example, this one, let's call this one the Ort Video. Ort Video. Save it, go into my pictures. Now, all I need to do is select the ones that I want to move. So I click on the ones that I want to move there, just like that. Top right-hand side, I click done. Eventually, as you can see, I'm screen recording all of this. Add that one as well. Done. Now I've created a folder called Ort Video. This just makes it much easier when I do want to go and create my Ort Video. I don't have to scan through everything looking for all the images I needed for that particular video. When you're done, it's pretty simple. Hit edit. You can delete that folder without deleting the images, or you can go in and delete the images. So now it's time to do some video editing. So on my phone, I have a number of video editors, and I'm going to go through some of them with you. There's the one that the phone comes with called iMovie. iMovie is very powerful. It's a very simple little thing. For most people, iMovie is absolutely more than enough. You'll see on the right-hand side there, I've Quick, the one I spoke about earlier on, the one I use for very, very fast editing. I use something called InShot, small little application, nice for adding a couple of titles to, if I want to really make something quick and send it to someone without any aggravation. InShot's kind of my go-to app. I do use Premiere Rush occasionally. It's not free and it's fairly complex to use. But the nice thing about using Premiere Rush, if you are an Adobe Suite user, you can synchronize between your Premiere Rush and your desktop and your iPad or anything you like, so that everything works at the same time and I can edit on multiple platforms. But that's really pretty advanced, and I'm not sure there's anyone here who's quite using the Premiere Pro at home, but if you are, have a look at Premiere Rush. Up until recently, Video Leap has been my go-to video editor. Cost me about 1,000 Rand, whatever, to buy the Pro version. It was worth it for me. But the problem, I was going to, in fact, this whole lesson was going to be on Video Leap when I suddenly discovered, having built the whole presentation, that Video Leap was not available as an Android application. And I needed to find something that I could use on Android and iPhone, otherwise I would be losing half of you at least today. So I stumbled across an app called VLLO. Nobody even knows how to pronounce it. I just call it VLLO. And VLLO is a free application, but for 149 Rand, you can upgrade it. And I do recommend that that will be 149 Rand well spent. I believe what the upgrade does is it allows you to do picture-in-picture, a couple of overlays. It gives you extra filters and certain effects. For me, that 149 Rand was certainly the best money I've spent. And to give you some idea, that I only discovered VLLO about a day and a half ago. So it was such a quick learning curve that I realized that this was a phenomenal application for anyone who's starting video, and extremely powerful, and will do everything that you want. So let's kick off with how to start a project. Pretty simple. Open your phone, open your videos, click on VLLO, and then you'll see something that says, let me just pause that a second. I'm going to go back a little bit for you. You'll see something there that says create video. Let me just quickly do something. Highlight pen and mouse. It'll help you. I'll just highlight. So all I do is I click on create video. The next thing I do is I go in here and I select the clips by clicking on them, the clips that I want to add to that particular video. So there we are, I'm picking the first 4 at the top there. Where my videos are added. And the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to select what format I want this video to come out in. And as I said earlier, my default is always 16:9, but there is a 1.1 if you want to shoot for Instagram, and there's also 19:6 if you want to shoot for Instagram story. So everything you need actually here, I always set to full. I want the videos to fill it, but you can set to fit or center, play around with those. You'll see how easy it is. Once I've selected 16:9, I just hit the arrow at the top there. I'd just like to, let me just go back 1 second. Please have a look at the warning in the blue over there. Don't delete the used video photos from the camera roll. If you delete it, VLLO can't open the project. This applies to all the projects. So very often the mistake that I used to make was having made a project and sent the client the video or posted the video myself, I then quickly go and delete all the pictures that went with it and all the videos to make space for myself. Next minute, the client phones you back and said you made one spelling mistake. You need to go and redo it. You go into Open VLLO or any of your other applications, and all the stuff is gone. So please, until you're absolutely sure that you've finished with it, don't do that. Okay, next step, how to reorder the clips. Now, you've got the clips on your phone, but you've now discovered that they're actually in the wrong order. So pretty simple. There are all your clips. Hard press on any one of them, they come up. Hard press again on any one of them. For example, the 2, move it around. Let's move number 4 to number 3. There we go. Simple as that. I've now reordered the clips as I need them to be. Once I'm happy with them, click the little button at the bottom, and I've reordered my clips. Someone's phone's ringing. Okay, now what's happened is I've got to my 4 clips in here, and I've suddenly discovered that I left one out. I want to add a couple more clips to what I was doing. Pretty simple. Go in there, select the clip that I want, add it, there it goes. So just quickly to go back, there's a little plus button over there. That's the button I push to add a clip. Simple as that. Missing a clip, add a clip, in it goes. Not happy with the order, hard press it down, go back and order it. The next thing I'm going to teach you to do is how to flip and rotate and split a video. Now you might ask me, why would I want to flip a video or rotate a video? Sometimes I've shot something, the guy's walking in from the left, I want it to look like he's walking in from the right. I'm having a bit of fun with a product. I want the product to appear like it's coming from the roof instead of from the ground. There are times when you certainly will use it, and flipping and rotating is very, very simple. All you do is you click on that particular video, and then along the bottom there you'll see flip X and flip Y. Click on them, simple as that, easy to do, and it's done. The next thing you might want to do is actually split the video. I'll just wait to come to that part over there. I've discovered that I'm sitting in a video and it's way too long. All I do is I pause the video, click on it. There's the split button. Click on that, and the splitting is done. I've now been able to split my video. Watch it again. Flip X, flip Y, turn it around. When I'm happy with it, click the done button. Find the next clip that I want to split. Everything you just simply move with your finger, press your finger on it, move it, find the clip you want, find the spot where you want to split it. Click on the actual video, up plops split, hit the split button, we're done. Now I've split the video into 2, and I now want to delete one of the portions. That video was just much too big for me. Simple little procedure. Find the spot that I want it to be on. Split the video first. Make sure I'm deleting the right portion. Flick my finger. That's not the side I want. Oh, I've decided to take out that one. Let me just go back there 1 second for you. Find the portion I want. There's your delete button. And now that portion of the video is gone.
Sorry, Mike.
Sure.
We have a few questions here in the chat box. Should we take them now or at the end?
No, if they're relevant to now, let's do them now.
Okay. So we have a question from Carolyn. She says, how much free empty memory space do you need on your mobile device to do this?
Okay, well, Carolyn, it depends on how long the video you're going to shoot is. I like to make sure that I have at least 10 gigs free at any one time, because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to shoot. Now, I want to tell you where all your memory is sitting. Most of your memory is sitting in WhatsApp. Every time someone sends you a WhatsApp with a picture or an image, that is really eating up memory, more than your own pictures. What I suggest each one of you do is you go and clear out as much as possible. Go and clear out your WhatsApp as often as possible, and you'll free up all the space you ever needed on your phone. So I would say try and make sure you've got 5 to 10 gigs at any time that you start filming, just to be safe.
Okay, thank you for that. And then we have a question from Aviva. What's the maximum length of a video you can create?
There's absolutely no maximum. You can shoot as long as you've got space on your phone. So you can shoot for, if you've got space for an hour, you can shoot for an hour. There's absolutely no problem. Of course, what you're going to do with an hour of footage or where you're going to send it's a different story. But I also recommend that you shoot in as small clips as possible. Shoot in clips that aren't longer than 1 minute if possible. It makes it much easier for cutting and editing afterwards.
Okay. Thank you. And we have one from Chitupa. He or she says, what is the icon with this app? As I've tried to download it and it says it's not free. We have a few people commenting here saying that it's not a free bundle.
Which one are we talking about? Filmic Pro or VLLO?
Filmic Pro.
Filmic Pro definitely has a free version. Don't download the bundles. Just look out for Filmic Pro free. Just search for that. It is. Can I just ask if those people are on Android or Apple?
I'll need to find out.
Okay, because I must say I'm speaking from an Apple point of view, but as far as I know, there is a free version on both Apple and Android. I have checked that a few times. Just search for the free version of Filmic Pro. And if you can't find that app, I'm just going to jump out of my slides quickly. If you can't find that one, another one that works almost exactly the same, I want to find it for you quickly and then I'll go back there. Camera app, sorry, apologies. The Pro Movie, there's an app called Pro Movie. You can certainly use that. And that is 100% free as well.
Okay.
I hope that any other questions?
So Graham says, yeah, there isn't a free version on Apple. We've just had people saying, I'm on Android.
There's certainly a free version on.
Okay.
Graham, is there no more free Filmic?
Maybe you can just send the link afterwards. Maybe just cut and paste the link and Laurie will send it on.
Okay, no problem. I shall do that.
Okay. That's it, Mark.
And that's it. Okay, let me just, give me 1 second. I need to now get back into my...
Oh, sorry, Janice says here, or Janice, she says, when you are done flipping or splitting and you click done, does this just save a new version or does it still keep the original version?
It keeps the original version on your phone and saves a new version inside the application. So you're not changing the one that you have on your phone in your Filmic Pro. Sorry, I'm trying to see if Filmic Pro was free. And I do apologize if it's not anymore, but I'm pretty sure they still have the free version. I will check for you. Otherwise, Pro Movie Recorder is also free and works almost exactly the same.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I need to go back to slideshow, resume slideshow. Okay. So, sorry, where were we? Deleting a portion we've done. Now, sorry, let me go back. I don't think I did that one. We've done flip, rotate, and split video. The next thing you want to do is maybe delete a portion of the video. That's pretty simple. Find the portion that you want, split the screen, hit the delete button. Once you found the section that you want to remove, hit delete, and off it goes. The next thing you want to do is to adjust the speed of a clip. Pretty simple. Find the clip that you want, highlight the clip, go along until you find the word speed. There we are over there. Pick a speed that you want to do. For example, you could speed up the video and make it much shorter and go much faster, or you might want to slow it down completely and go to slow motion. Now, I'm often asked, why would you want to increase the speed of a clip? Let's say, for example, you're doing a demonstration on a particular product. And let's say we're going to do some decoupage. Now, you don't want your audience to have to sit through 20 minutes of you doing decoupage. But what you might do is shoot the film and then speed it up so that they see the very beginning off slowly and the very end, the middle at high speed, and then finish off really slowly at the end, giving a kind of speed ramping effect, but also giving them an opportunity to see what it is that they've done. So there we are, we've adjusted the speed of a clip. I'll just go through that again for you. Find the particular clip you want, click on the clip, find the speed button, adjust to the speed that you want. Slideshow. Simple as that. Okay, next. What about reversing a video? Now, once again, people always ask me, why would you possibly want to reverse a video? Let's say you're showing a celebration, for example, champagne flying out of a bottle. You might want to show that in reverse just for a little bit of fun. For example, what I've done here is I've looked at a cycling clip that I took in the wilderness and wanted to see what it would look like, how that cycling clip would look backwards. So pretty simply, there's the clip. I stop the clip, look for the reverse button, hit the reverse button. This will take a couple of seconds for it to turn the video around for you. It's pretty quick. By the way, no matter which application you use for editing, most of them offer the same things. For example, reverse, speed ramping, etc. Now, when I play it, I've got this kind of funny video of the guy riding back. Not something you're going to use very often, but certainly something worth knowing and being able to do. Next thing you might want to do is trim a video. So for example, I've now looked at this video. I like what I see, but it's still too long for me, and I want to shorten the video slightly. So what I'm going to do, find the spot where I want it to stop, get an idea where I want my video to stop. There are two ways I can do it. I'm going to pause that. The first one, as you saw before, was I simply trimmed the video. I split it like we did earlier and then deleted the one side. But there's another way for me to trim it, and you'll see there's a little blue triangle at the bottom there. By placing my finger on that, holding my finger down and dragging it left or right, I can expand the length of the video. So I can bring it into an exact point at any time that I like. So two simple ways to trim your video: either split it in half and delete one portion, or simply drag that point backwards and forwards in order to alter the length of your video. The next thing I might want to do is I might want to mute a particular clip. So for example, I'm shooting, I know that I'm going to be using a voiceover, or I'm going to be using some background music. I don't want the sound of that particular clip. For example, the skydiving clip, I don't want the sound of that particular clip to come out at all. Pretty simple.
It's freezing.
Found the clip that I'm looking at. Go along the bottom until I find the mute button. Press the mute button. Now what you'll find, I just want to pause there for a second, that is, although the audio waves still appear on the clip, showing that that clip has got audio in it, you won't be able to hear anything while I'm playing that particular clip. So if you've been shooting something inside a restaurant or inside a factory where there's a lot of background noise, don't worry about it while you're shooting it. When you do your editing, you can always mute it or even reduce the volume of it without, there we are, there's the volume button over there. Click on the volume button and reduce the volume if you do want to save some of the ambient noise. Sometimes you don't want to delete it altogether because you do want to have just a little bit of that noise coming through to set the scene. So there we are, we've been able to mute the clip. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate or delete a video. Now, you might want to reuse the same piece of video at the beginning or the end, or for example, for a little bit of fun, you might want to put two clips next to each other where one's going backwards and one's going forwards. And that's what I've done on this particular case. So all you do is you highlight the video, flick along the bottom, find the duplicate button, duplicate the video. What we've got is this effect of me riding towards myself. Let me reverse that one again. So just for a bit of fun there, what I did was I showed myself riding away and then back again, just a simple little thing to reverse the video, duplicate it, mix them up, have a bit of fun, play with your videos as much as possible. Okay, the next thing is we've now got a whole lot of scenes, and every time we press a scene, let me just play this for you, you will see this very hard switch from one scene to the next. To go back there, show you again, a really hard switch from one to the next. And what you really want to do is make your videos look a little bit more cinematic. So what you're going to do is you're going to add transitions to them. And a simple way to add the transition is to click on that little button there. And as you click on that button, along the bottom, a whole lot of options will come up, going all the way from a dissolve to some pretty fancy ones, rolling, stretching, slicing, zooming. You'll try and pick the one that works for you. Now, in this particular scene, what I've got is I've got a moving image inside the restaurant, which is moving away from me, shooting to this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, for fun, I'm going to add, sorry, let's go. For fun, I'm going to add a zooming effect to it. There's the hard effect. I click on it, choose the effect I want. I'm going to use zoom in this particular case. And now all of a sudden, I've got that kind of fun effect that's happening between them. Just something to watch it again. Just a nice little scene changer as opposed to a hard little thing. My go-to is always dissolve. I like to dissolve between my pictures. Some people do like a hard effect, but that's how simple it is to add a transition between your two different videos. And by the way, you can also adjust the length of your transition as you click on that button. Let me just try and go back there, see if it does show it for you. Pause there. As you can see up there, I can adjust the duration of it. I can also adjust the direction that it comes in. I can have it zoom out. I can have it zoom in. I can use a spin zoom. Same with the slice and wipe effects. I can make it slide from the left, slide from the right. I can make it slide in really fast, slide in really slowly. It's unbelievable just how powerful this application is if you consider that it's sitting there on your phone waiting for you to use.
Mark, I have a question, Mark. Sorry, I have a question from Victor. He said that they like to use TikTok for brand exposure and interactions. Is it possible to download popular TikTok audio and add it to the video edited in another app and then upload onto TikTok using influencers?
Okay, so hello, Victor. There's no question that you can. One of the hardest things to do is to move sounds around. So what I always try and do is I put them in file. I use an iPhone, so I have a folder called files. I put them in the files, and then when I add sound, which I'll show you a bit later on, I can choose any sound I like that I have saved onto my phone. So that's certainly one way. The other way that people cheat is they screen record the whole video, and they then place the video on the timeline and remove the picture and keep the sound. But that's getting a bit intricate. But the bottom line is, yes, you can add any background sound that you've saved, including TikTok sounds, onto your videos to make them over here. And obviously, when you're making TikToks, you're not going to be making 16:9, you're going to be making 9:16s. So they stand nice and long. And then you'll also find that, Victor, you can have a lot of fun. You'll see motion stickers, which I don't talk about on this particular thing, but there's some fantastic little motion stickers that you can add to your TikTok videos. So I'm pretty sure you can have a lot of fun and take your TikTok videos to a whole new level using VLLO. Anything else, Trace? Sorry.
No, thank you, Mark.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is show you how to zoom in and zoom out of a video. So for example, you shot a particular scene, but you want it to look like it was much closer, or one of the times when I really use zoom in and zoom out is when I'm shooting an interview with a single camera, and I want it to look like there's someone standing behind the camera, panning in and panning out. And it just gives a little bit of motion to it. But the first thing I'll do is how to zoom in on a single video. As you click on the particular video, click on the video over there, you will notice this little screen coming up here with all the grids. Simply by using 2 fingers and spreading them out, I'll be able to zoom in or zoom out or drag and move it around. So if you just watch what I'm going to do here, I'm going to zoom in on his particular head, then I'm going to put him more or less in the middle, and that's where my new shot's going to be. So now I have a whole new clip that's much closer in and is concentrated more on his hand, or his hand coming up to his eyes from that point of view. So that's how simple it is to zoom in on a particular video. You can even zoom in on a picture at any one time that you want.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I wasn't sure how you zoomed it in. Did you just do it with your fingers?
Yep, I just put my 2 fingers on the screen and I split them apart. And as I split them apart, so the video opened out.
Oh, okay, thanks.
And using Karen, then using my fingers, I then moved it to the middle where I wanted it to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Now, another thing you might want to do is to zoom in during the video in motion. So in other words, I'm going to start with it zoomed out, and then I'm going to zoom in while the video is moving. And this is a really fun technique. So you can see what I've done here. Sorry, my little mouse is not playing nicely with me. What I've done in this particular video is I've identified that lady sitting behind him, and I want to concentrate. In fact, I've looked at the man laughing, and I want to make him more of a feature. I want him to stand out from everybody else. So what I'm going to do is there's a little button there called partial setting. And as I hit the partial setting button on, you'll see a little turquoise keyframe comes up there. So that's the starting point for that particular one. Then I'm going to fast forward the video a little bit using my finger, and I'm going to find some scene somewhere over there, and I'm going to press that button there to add another keystroke. While I'm on that particular keystroke, I'm now going to do the same thing I did with my fingers. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to put him in the middle. And my new clip looks something like this now. It starts broad, and automatically, while the guy's laughing, there I am, I'm zooming in and bringing attention to him. And all that was done with a simple little keyframe and a zoom, and knowing where to start and knowing when to finish.
Mark, I have a question from Aviva. She's asked, how do you take a clip from a movie?
Okay, well, obviously you can't do that here. You need to screenshot that off YouTube or have that clip somewhere else or film it. You need to bring in a piece of film that you'd save like any other image. Screen record's probably the best way to do it. Otherwise, you'll have to film it. But then the quality is going to be pretty low. But once any clip that you save, whether it comes from a movie or you've shot it or you've downloaded some stock footage, once it's in your in your albums, you can use it like any other clip. It doesn't really matter what it is. So I'll have to give a very private lesson on how to steal footage off other people's movies, because obviously you're not supposed to do that. So there we go. There's our new clip. Just to show you once again, find the spot, hit partial settings, go across to the point where I want, add another keyframe, zoom in, change the angle, put him in the middle, press done. There we go. We have a new clip. All of a sudden, instead of just being a flat clip, what I'm seeing is a zoom in effect. And I can do the same with the zoom out. I could start really close and then decide to pan away to the whole audience. So for example, if I want to highlight someone in the show. Next, obviously you'd like to add some little title. So for example, here I'm just going to start off by showing a little title. I want to highlight that person and I want to say who that person is as I pick them out from the crowd. So all you do along the bottom, find the spot that I want it to be. Let me just go back fractionally for you. There's the T for title. As I click on the title button, all of these come up. There are plenty to choose from. Just scroll down. You'll find different ones. You can adjust them. I'm just going to use a random one for this particular one. Click on the text there. Once it's there, I double click on it. And all I do is I add the person's name. For example, there, I can position it. I can make it bigger. I can make it smaller. What I'm also going to do in this particular place is I'm going to hit that little button and we go back fractionally. It's a little button. Back a little bit further, sorry. There, button called animation. So right here, I can redo the text. I can change the font. I can look at the style. So for example, I can remove that black border. I can put some shadow. I can change the color. I can do anything I want inside the style. Then I'm going to hit the animation button, which is that one over there. And what the animation button is going to do is it's going to allow me to fade in or fade out or anything else I want, just so that it doesn't look so harsh when it comes up there. Here we are, fade in, fade out. Once again, once I'm done, I click done, play the video for myself, just to check that I'm happy with it. As it comes in, fades in with my name. That's what I'm drawing attention to. Simple as that, add a title. The title doesn't have to appear on the bottom. It can appear right in the middle. It can be your opening titles of your video, anything like that, but adding a title is pretty simple and easy to do. Okay, now that we've added a title, I want to add the voiceover. So I recorded a voiceover, which I saved in my files. I've got it waiting there, and I want to add it now to my video. I pop along to the audio button, first of all. I decide whether I want to add background music, voice, or a sound effect. Sound effects are a lot of fun. For example, I might want to add a sound effect as I do some kind of camera shutter zoom. I might want it to go, and I will find that sound effect sitting there waiting for me and easy to do. So I click on audio. And I click voiceover, click the button, and I can record my own voiceover to match. When I'm done with that, press pause, play it back for myself. Check that I'm happy with it. I thought you'd be able to hear me actually playing my own video, but it's not. I can adjust the volume. I can bring the volume down. I can bring the volume up. I can split it. I can duplicate it. I can move it. I can fade it in if I want to, fade it out. Unbelievably powerful what I can do just as once again with this tiny little application. When I'm happy with it, press done, and I now have a voiceover on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't, my screenshot doesn't record the voiceover while I'm doing it for you. The next thing I want to do after I've added some voice is I might want to add some voice from a file as opposed to the one that I've recorded. So in other words, I pre-recorded my voice the way I showed you, and I'm going to add it from this point. Pretty simple. Go to voiceover, go to files over there. I'm going to click on files. There are all the little sounds that are there in the library. There's my voice recording. Click on the voice recording. Add that. My name is Mike Sade, and I'm teaching video editing for beginners. Drop it in there. Make sure it's in the right place. My name is Mike Sade, and I'm teaching video editing for beginners. And that's how simple it is to add a voice recording to. So the next thing you might want to do is to add some music. So you've done a whole narration and you want to have some soft background music playing at that particular time. Once again, really simple. I'll look for the audio setting over here. Once I'm on the audio setting, I now click on BGM, which is background music. I go look for the music that I want. There are so many different ones, from soft, peaceful ones to, you'll have to listen to a few of them. I'm quite happy with that one.
Is this music safe?
I can decide to fade in the music once again, as I spoke about earlier. I can adjust the volume of it. I can drag it around. So play with your music, use different things. That's how simple it is to add music to your videos. And okay, now we're pretty far along. We've found all our clips, we've edited our clips, we've done our transitions, we put some titles over it. In fact, we're pretty happy with our video. We're ready to go, and now it's time to produce our video. What do we do next?
Mark, where was the music from? Was it
Sorry. Just let me pause a second. So VLLO offers you free music, but I'm going to talk about the music in a few minutes, but they do have a really nice selection of music that you can add just by clicking on BGM. You got that?
Thank you. Thanks,
Yes,
Mark.
the music is available to you, but there are other places to find music. I'll show you some of the places that you can find music at the moment, but I just want to show you what was available there. Editing for beginners. So now we have our video, we're happy, we've added everything we wanted, we've tested it, we love it, we're ready to produce it. Up there at the top there, simple little button. There we are, I've added a nice title to it. I've got a zoom effect in it. I'm very happy with it. I've done all the zooming I want. Now I want to produce my video. I simply click on there and it says export a video. So now it offers you different resolutions once again to export in. 99% of the time when I export, I'm exporting in full HD. But if, for example, I want to use this for something that's really, really small, a small little, it's a long video and I need it to be small enough to send by WhatsApp. Just by the way, WhatsApp has a limit of about 16 gigs. So anything bigger than that, it's going to cut the video for you. So every now and again, I might use a low resolution. But for most of the things I want, for example, Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to export in high res. I'm always going to export in 30 frames per second. I'm going to hit the export button. It'll take a couple of moments and your video has been produced and is sitting and waiting for you in your folder. Now, Every now and again, you're going to produce a video that is simply too big. And when I mean too big, is you can't actually send it by WhatsApp, which is maybe one of the ways that you want to distribute your video. As I said, when you send a video from your phone in WhatsApp, you can only use 16 gigs. But little trick, if you send the video from your desktop WhatsApp application, you can send something up to 64 gigs. But let's say your file is too big and you need to reduce the size of your file without doing any damage to the film. Sorry. I'm going to tell you that there's something called Handbrake, which you can download to your desktop. It's also an absolutely free application. You'll find it at https://handbrake.fr. Just download Handbrake. What you'll do then is you'll drop one of your files into Handbrake. You'll then set the resolution that you want it to be. I have found that Gmail large 3-minute movies gives me the perfect size to send out in by WhatsApp. I'll then give it a name, press the starting code button, and then I'll find that I now have a file that's, so for example, I can take a 10-minute video and reduce it to a single WhatsApp by using Handbrake. Simple little trick. You might find it useful, you might not. Now, a word about your soundtrack. I need to just warn you about soundtracks. Your background music. First of all, please use royalty-free music all the time. Do not use popular music. I'll reiterate that just now. All that will happen is you'll stick your video on YouTube or on Facebook and it'll get blocked straight away. Even Instagram will block you from using it because the music is licensed to somebody else. So wherever possible, use royalty-free music. VLLO has a small selection and more than enough for most people, but there are other places to find music. Another really great place to find free music is to go to YouTube and search for audio library/music. There's an endless selection of free, royalty-free music that you can use without infringing on anyone's licenses whatsoever. There are also paid sites that you can visit. For example, I use Epidemic Sound when I'm looking for sounds for my clients. Very often I'll use this when I'm looking for something that no one else is using at the moment, or I'm looking for a particular theme of music and I can't find it on YouTube. I'll find it in Epidemic Sound. And also there's something called Audio Jungle, which allows you also to buy music and use that for yourself. Once again, I just want to reiterate, please do not use popular music as much as you like it, as much as your client might want it. It's going to cause you endless problems when you try and upload the video at that particular time. And then finally, what I did this morning, I thought to myself, I shouldn't ask you to do something that I wouldn't do. So using my applications that I've used here, I quickly made myself a very fast video based on the script that I wrote. And this was this morning's video. I didn't shoot all the video. I used a lot of still footage because I couldn't get out there to see my clients this morning. But this will give you an idea of something that you can do in just a few minutes. Hi all, my name is Mike Said, and I'm a Johannesburg-based content creator. I've embraced video as a way to assist my clients to grow and scale their businesses. When I'm not jumping off cliffs, out of perfectly good aeroplanes, or sliding along some thin piece of wire suspended over a cliff, I'm constantly looking for ways to help them sell more stuff to more people for more money, more efficiently, and of course, more often. After 30 years in the restaurant industry, I realized that clients the world over need assistance in discovering their story, then being able to verbalize it, and finally telling that story in a way that's both engaging and captivating to their audience. I'm a visual storyteller. By engaging with my clients to discover what drives them, motivates them, has brought them success, and of course, in understanding what their challenges are, I work alongside them to craft their story to assist them in telling it. I'm inspired by my clients. I take a personal interest in their success and enjoy nothing more than watching a campaign unfold and of course watching sales climb through the roof. One thing I've learned over the years is that anything that does not generate results is not only bullshit, but very expensive bullshit at that. How can I help you? So that was my video. It took me about 30 minutes to make this morning using the same applications that I've shown you. Hi all. So now go and have some fun. I just want to tell you something. Yes, your first video will probably be cuck, so was mine, but the next one will be a bit less cuck, and after that, a little bit less cuck, until eventually you'll be making fantastic videos. You'll be loving them. The fact that you're even sitting here today and watching this is great testament to the fact that you really do want this to work for yourself. Go out there, have some fun, make some videos. If there are any questions, please feel free. I managed to finish with about 9 minutes left. So happy to take as many questions as you like right now.
Okay, I've got a question.
Yes,
can I go ahead? Yeah,
you can.
Like sometimes on your phone, there are two different types of memories. There's like the system memory, and then you can upgrade your memory by putting in an SD card. For all these apps, what memory do they use? And in order to make the video, what memory are they using?
Okay, so I personally use an iPhone, which means I can't upgrade my memory. Whatever's there's there.
Okay.
The phones are fast enough that it doesn't really matter where you're storing it in. So if I'm you, I would try and store as little as possible on the phone and store as much as possible on the memory card. Then every now and again, I'd back up the memory card to make sure I've got everything that's on there. And it's really hard to fill one of those big memory cards that are on your phone, but it's very easy to fill your phone. So if I'm you, I would keep the apps on my phone and keep all the data and videos. I'd keep that on the memory card.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Mike, it's Ellis here. How would you go for doing your editing on a laptop? So you film with your cell phone and you do your editing on a laptop, which allows it a little bit easier to manipulate. What's your feeling on that?
Oh, absolutely. I've got Premiere Pro sitting on my desktop. But Premiere Pro and the whole Adobe suite's costing me something like 800 or 900 Rand per month, but I'm using it professionally, so it's worthwhile. Yeah. As a business owner who wants to make short videos, it's not an expense you need to go to. And strange thing is, to get the kind of power that you can get off VLLO, you'd probably have to buy something like Adobe or Power Director. There are applications. It's not difficult. You simply take them all off, put all the videos into a folder somewhere on your computer and work out of that particular folder. Of course, you can get much better fades, you get better effects, but whether it's worth it, unless you're going to do this professionally, I'm not certain.
And on the other side, Mike, I use Camtasia a lot for screen capture and creating clips on Camtasia. I know it's an old product, but it's been very effective for me.
Oh, no problem. You can use Camtasia on my phone. I use screen record to do all of that because I couldn't show you live what I was doing. So I actually had to screen record what I thought I would be saying at that particular moment. There are so many apps at the moment that all do great screen recording. I use one, let me see if I can find you my one, called MonoSnap. I think MonoSnap's absolutely fantastic as well. Yeah, there are different ways, and you can always incorporate those videos into videos that you've made. You can make it look like you could download a video clip of a guy working on a PC, and then you could overlay the Camtasia over that PC so it looks like he's actually doing it at that particular moment. I might even have an example of one of those if I can just find. I'll see if I can find it for you quickly. I don't know if I've actually got it here or not. Yeah, here's one. Let me show you this little clip.
I just want to hit a cup first. Okay.
So what I did there was I screenshotted myself actually using their video app, and then I superimposed that over the video clip here.
Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah, so there are lots of ways to do it, but it also depends on how far you want to take your video editing and what investment you'd like to make also.
Thanks very much, Mike. It was
Yeah.
absolutely remarkable. Thank you.
Any other questions that I can cover? Trace? Candice? Not sure. Okay, if we're done, then thank you very much, everyone. I hope I haven't scared you too much. I hope I've at least inspired you to try something new. It is possible. You have my WhatsApp, you have my email. If you get stuck on something, please feel free. I know that Ort do record these sessions. You can always go back and play back the session and find the section that you've been stuck on. But if I can help you in any way, only too happy to do so.
Mark, thank you so much. It's been such an incredible session. The compliments are coming through. You know, a lot of people have said they need time to practice. And it was absolutely, the last hour and a half has just flown by. We really appreciate all the resources, the free tools that you always share with us. And once again, we're so grateful for your time. Laura, I'm not sure if you want to do your pitch for testimonials before we end.
And let me just thank Mark. Honestly, Mark, your knowledge is remarkable. I
Thanks,
think you
Laurie.
fast track a lot of us with all the skills you have and just all the tricks that you've learned yourself through lots of hard work. And if anyone is feeling brave and would like to use the skills they've learned today to shoot their own video, you're welcome to contact me. I will put my email in the chat, or I will contact you anyway. But have a good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Before you go, since March the 27th and millions of webinars, this is by far the best I've had.
Thank you, Philip. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you
Philip.
so much.
Mike said
That's
what?
incredible.
Mike said
Yeah.
lots.
Yes, Peter, you go light up a cigarette, man.
And that's it.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much, Mark. And we wish you all a good, warm afternoon.